Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on overt narcissist love styles. And there was some Palo Alto wood that was going off, and I had to get that in. This is a wonderful wood that you can get from all sorts of places like online, but eBay. And it's a very beautiful scented wood. Smells kind of like a holy wood. I think there's another name for it, but sorry about that. Wanted to get back on track. And before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to those of you who have recently donated. Thank you, LL and NG. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And yes, please feel free to support the channel. If you have a question for me, a burning desire, a burning question, a burning topic that you want us to put out there and explore here on the Peace and Harmony channel, feel free to give me a donation. Write your question in the notes of the PayPal, and we can take up your question there if you don't want to have sort of coaching or something of that nature. So thank you again, and I just want to sort of zoom in and focus in a little bit more in depth on the overt narcissist love style. How do they, quote unquote, attach, bond, really use, reuse, and refuse others? It is the narcissist love style. It is a cycle of use, reuse, recycle, rehabilitate, and then reuse again. So the people who will use others, like you would use a toilet seat. I mean, they use others for companionship. They use others sort of to buffer their own anxiety, not to have a relationship, but because they're more comfortable sleeping with somebody, eating with somebody, businessing with somebody, texting with somebody, rather than being alone. They need human security blankets. They need oftentimes drugs, alcohol, other syndromes to keep their anxiety at bay. So overtly, which means obviously, out in the open. Often, and what's interesting enough is that sometimes there's qualities of the overt narcissist which are very desirable. Some men or women of a lot of wealth. Not all people of wealth are narcissistic overtly. There are some people, I mean, think of like the English royal family. I don't know, they seem to do a lot of good with their money. They're not, so you have selfless people, your Mother Teresa's, your people who still have money, but they're still good people. The two and two can exist, but albeit in the world of narcissism, not as many. You get more of these top people rising to the top. Why? Because they're not afraid to step on people, stab others in the back, throw others under the bus. You thought you were buddies. Next thing you know, they're telling something private about you in confidence that you held with them to your business group, your family members, your da-da-da. And you're like, I thought, we had an agreement and understanding, a consensus of terms, and they will throw you under the bus despite smiling, inviting you, or otherwise wanting, strength in numbers is what they're looking at. So their love style, in narcissism, overtly, which means they have a pathological sense of their self-importance. So pathology meaning disease, meaning if you were to have a pathology report on your skin and have it sent to the pathologist and it come back skin cancer, okay? So it's a similar thing. You're putting a relationship style kind of out there into the lab. It's coming back with some pathologies, okay? There's something askew, albeit wrong, hurtful, diseased, disordered, causing harm or lack of ease, dis-ease, the opposite of ease, okay? Dis meaning the opposite of, disenchanted, disinherited, disgusted, so the opposite of. So the overt narcissist will have a flagrant and oftentimes outspoken sense of their own importance because because I've been at this business before for 35 years. Because of this, they expect, specific treatment. Because I've, did this and this work, they'll always, they can always hold something up and dangle something like an emotional sword that they can, because of this, I deserve this right, or you're going to get some sort of punishment. I mean, this is how, they expect to only be associated with people of equal or above stature. So, these are the people who are overtly saying, because I deserve, because of this. They're outspoken, out of line, deranged sometimes. And they're forsaken certain justices like humility or sometimes being wrong. They don't understand that they sometimes are incorrect, hurtful to others, not engaging in hospitable ways. And that need to be kept in check. But with an overt narcissist, they don't really feel that they have done anything wrong in a similar way. They don't have a lack of empathy. They have a lack of empathy, which means they don't really engage or calculate in their decisions the feelings of others. The big boss who goes, we're going to destroy 30 million acres of pristine wilderness and rainforest in the Amazon that has taken millions of years to become this, earth and oxygen production for the planet. What would be awesome is if we could cut all that down and I can put cattle there. I mean, cattle aren't natural, but because this would be just great, we can chop all this down. We can illegally or legally do our cattle. And even though this suffering, we would make X billion, this makes sense. This is how they navigate their decisions. They don't really calculate in, especially the damaging effects of how of how they mistreat others. Their lifestyle, they might be very seductive, strong, very endearing in a charisma that they know, and sort of just like, this is, overtly, I'm endowed. They might use these words for them. I'm special. They expect to be treated as particularly special favors, special errands, special texts, special rules, special treatment. And like in business, these people can cause a lot of trouble. Oh yeah, why don't you just send all the good deals over to me? You don't have to put them all out there like our protocol says. When you see something good, just send me an email. I'll go get it, and then I'll who these people think that they deserve special treatment for no apparent reason other than they're narcissistic. They have a pathological sense of their self-importance. I can swindle, hustle, cajole, and persuade, and and I can rob people blind, and so don't keep the business coming my way. See, and then you give my back, I'll get your back. This is narcissist out in the open, trying to make special deals, feeling that they're better than others. Don't have to be subjected to the same rules. You're married, but things are a little open. Things are a little open, but they're expecting commitment. Their love relationship is controlling. What's that you're eating? Let me have a bite of it first. It's your birthday cake. I'm going to get the first slice. It's your graduation. Let me show you my graduation pics. They're always stealing the thunder. It's your retirement party. Guess what? We just sold, a Lamborghini dealer, and they just have always something bigger, something better, something that you're going to rise up, and then all of a sudden they try to dwarf others. These people might be short in stature, but they try to dwarf others, women of the same height, okay? Overt narcissists who overtly sort of take possession of others' body parts. Hey, good to see you. A little uncomfortable hug. A married man grabbing a woman, behind the waist, snapping their undergarments, giving them a specific kiss, giving them a wink, giving them a whiff of their perfume. See you later. Je ne sais quoi, da-da-da-da-dums. Like little, obvious look downs. I mean, they want you to flash they're going to flash their cash, and they're going to overtly like look you up and down and maybe even go, like they can't control themselves, and you're going like, oh my God, that person's married and they just did this. They're doing it to you, but they're doing it to everyone else. There's nothing special. The people who are stuck and the fantasy life of the good old narcissist love relationship will learn that they're, unfortunately, even though you hoped, wanted, predicted, invested, thought, and banked on that this was going to be your special long-term relationship, it had all the foretellings of it. Oops, they did it again. They cheated. They're not ready. They're commitment-phobic. This feels too stifling. I mean, they're going to, they need to have their hand in the cookie jar at all times. Life is their cookie jar. Life is their ocean. Life is their oyster, and no one else has any fishing net or license as far as they're concerned. They just only sort of see they have an insatiable need to have power and control. So it's just like they have this drive. For me, I don't have that need. I think it would be cause a lot of stress. And so oftentimes, these people will drive themselves crazy because they are always sort of trying to juggle their neediness. And then trying to basically project then that others are too needy. That's why they can't make it with you. You're too needy, even though, it's the projection. You're too lowly, even though they're lowly. You're too and then, so they do this projection. They don't own up or have any blame. So they're very blameless in love. You can't blame them. They're endowed. They're wealthy. They're something. They have curly hair. They have straight hair. Anything can be used against you. They will make small to a postage size stamp others, and they'll narcissists in love will sort of overtly sort of take from others. And so how it's played out can oftentimes be violationary, meaning they're helping themselves to others, violating their boundaries and standards, not being there for others, children. They get annoyed. Why are you, you're so annoying. They just can't stand, that anything else could be about them, and what they're hearing is going on about how good they are. They're always dialing themselves up. Turn me up is basically turn me on, and then they give the feeling maybe that, you're trying to jockey, you're trying to get in it, and then you fall in love with the possibility of being the one and only, but they don't relegate any other specialness to others other than themselves. They're afraid, I think, to sort of own up to it, unless there's some sort of belligerence. If there's someone equal or above, where they're belligerent with drink, belligerent with money, belligerent with cars. My car just flew off. That's my Lamborghini. Oh, I'm going to get another one tomorrow. It's just sort of this disposable mindset, disposable people, disposable income. You're there at their birthday. They're not going to be there at yours. So it's kind of like you're humdrum while they're whoop-de-doo. You don't have, according to them, they're razzle-dazzle and you're mud. I mean, they just sort of don't have, they just can't have it. They just, even though they should and they could, but they don't have an ability. They have a disability to sort of have that shared and give recognition. You know, if recognition is due. If they're giving you recognition, it's just like they're sort of taking it from you. You don't feel, they don't allow you to own it through the things that they say and they do. There's oh, so you got this and you got that. You don't even get a chance to say, guess what, I got the deal. Guess what, I did this. They just end up going, you got the deal. And you know, and then they just take the words right from your mouth and you're going, yeah. And you've just lost your power. You're wondering what happened. These are your overt narcissists. Steal the words right out of your mouth. Steal the view. Look at me. You're looking at like the green comet that was supposed to be available. You're trying to find, no, look at me. Let me see a picture with you in the background, and you just lost the green comet. You're losing. I'm here to see. No, they'll sort of the old turn and spin around when you least expect it. And then it's usually at that heightened emotion, and you end up just, why did I do this? Why? And then you're hard on yourself. There's no harder person in love on others than an overt narcissist. If you don't show up wearing the diamonds, wearing the gold, wearing the silk, wearing the feathers, wearing the tutu tata, TTTNA, boom boompity doom, whatever, they're just kind of like, or you're sick, can't, can't, I got a showing, I got a picture, they're just out, they're just gone, poof, unaccountable, irresponsible. Next thing you know, they're doing some other self-gratifying behavior that is gratifying to them, which can oftentimes mean sort of taking from others, helping themselves to your food, your cabinet, your house, your body, your job, your family. Just, hey, on Facebook, hey, why don't I just exploit all your following, and they're going to come and see me and my do-do-do-do, and they're going to do blah-blah-blah, and then you're like, oh my God. And they're like, well, I guess that's what Facebook is about, or Instagram. They steal your friends, they steal your clout. They obviously are like the bulldozers, like 5,000 for me and 1 for you. Awesome, man. Love your 1. And then meanwhile, they've got their thumb up with their 5,000. They will always sort of dismiss you while you're in their presence. It gives you a very foreboding and existential feeling of sort of death in the moment, meaning like, oh my God, like they just sort of are able to take your personal fire and somehow grab it from you, and it's gone. Like love me magician. It isn't fun to play with. You might have had a couple rounds of emotional golf with these people, and say, oh, I can have a go around. I can play. I can jam like this. This could be my jam. Yeah. And then it starts bringing out the worst of you. Uh-oh. And then you're thinking that the worst is going to be more salient, more potent, more powerful. And then they end up, you're so, in other words, that they kick you down, and they go, see, you're so kicked down. I just can't be with you. They create the whole cycle for themselves. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance to sort of have your vote, to cast your like, I'm part of this. You don't, they sort of assign you a role apart, and you're going to be this, play this, and you should be so lucky, and shut up and put up, and you're so lucky, and bye-bye. And you're like, what is this sort of silent club pack that I've maybe somehow subconsciously agreed to be used, played, put down, brought up, and then gratified with a little bit of quality time or them time or whatever, and it becomes this very unhealthy dynamic that really rips at people's, like on a real tissue, salient physical basis. People will cry, shed tears, wince, oh my God, get anxiety, depression, feeling it in their body, inflamed, uncomfortable, feeling lost, not knowing where to turn, not knowing what else to do, resourceless, listless, not able to speak, be, you need to take a retreat. You need to realize sometimes in a overt narcissist love style, they want, it's all for the show. They've got the big diamond rings. And if you should, some will share their diamond rings with you. Look at it, isn't it? And others will be like, kind of, look how pretty my ring is on you. And then I take you like you're like a hanger for their diamond rings. Or it's just like a really strange, where they sort of take people down from the 6D or all the dimensions that they are and put them down to a 2D or 3D or 1D. They have a very single-mindedness for other people. And unless you overwork, overextend, huff and puff, and try to extend yourself once you're playing their game, and you're sort of in that jackpot mentality, in that gamble mentality, in that casino mentality, you might get at this time. Have you worked hard enough? Have you put up enough? Have you played their rules enough? Have you lived up to the role that they have assigned you? You're not living from the inside out. You're kind of living from their outside shell in. And as long as you can fuel that shell, they're going to kind of keep that around. But they will always have a second and a third backup, ultimatum place, way that they're doing, a way to let themselves out the back door, off the hook. This is their lifestyle. They don't need any excuses. They just live in their own excuses. See, my pants are down. They are not ashamed. They do not have, oftentimes, human shame. Flaunting of their bodies. Hey, honey, can you keep that for us? It's a little bit out there, like, for where we're at. Like, or just humiliating situations. Answering the door half clothed. What are you doing with they're endowed. It's just who they are. And you're like, this seems a little testy of me. And you're putting up, and then your boundaries are like moving in the sand to the point where you're kind of in their homeland and not your own groundedness, or they're not even allowing you to have your homeland, your claim to the very ground that you're standing on. It's a very insidious way of sort of consuming, using, manipulating, and exploiting of other people. You see it in workplaces. People are working in these shops for 16 hours. Their bosses are treating them terribly. They're starving. No nutrition. They've got huge lights on. Just torturous work, but that's what's going on. This is exploitation. This is just a similar, albeit drastic or extreme. There's sort of a diminution to have dominion over. And I kind of want to look at that, because you enter sort of their domain, even though you have a domain of your own. And I am of your own. But if you enter into their or life scene, it's life scene, it's not their life. They won't allow you to lay claim to your own life, your own good, your own. Yeah, I noticed you're earning some more income. Did you get something new? Yeah, it seemed like you got a raise in your job. Did you just redo the lawn because it was so awful before? Like, just sort of, put downs for your accomplishments. It's very, very insidious. They just can't allow people to have the good. They're threatened, jealous, envious, and they feel, oh, I'm so special. I'm misunderstood. You can't have anything good either. No, that couldn't be. I don't. They just don't see it. They're looking at their own pond. It's me. You know. It's just, and so the word that I was going to look up as I get going on these, it'll come back to me. I just want to help you identify that there's these specifically exquisite sort of downtrodden states that they will project and create a cycle. Like, they'll want you to take off work and do something for them. And then they'll say, well, you don't have a good enough job, or, just they create the misery that they have an excuse that they then get themselves out of. They just have some sort of escape route already intact when it comes to their love style. They lay claim to others. It's a very sort of possessiveness of others, but they might say, oh, but others are so possessive. Why do you want some, marriage to them seems too controlling. Oh, do you want someone to just control you? That's marriage to them. That's a narcissist framing, interpretation. And that they're the better for not wanting, not doing, this is the life, you'll never make it. This won't work. Kids are a lot of work. It'll ruin your body. I mean, all this stuff, and you're like, what? So that it's a very difficult love game, because there's a real gaminess to it. There's a real, can you impress? Can you live up to? And just being sometimes is when they will retreat and brood and such. They want, dominion. That's the word. So dominion, meaning have a domination over others, while claiming, if you are sticking up for what you want, you're trying to dominate. You're trying to ask for too much. You are, and they are very hard. Covert narcissists in love, I would say, are very hard on their partners. You wear this. You must earn this. People will be divorced. COVID, people who lost their jobs, 2008. You're not making that anymore. You can't give me this, that, and the other thing. Baby, bye. I mean, that's just, you can't, they're not in it for the love. They're in it for the money. They're not in it for companionship. They're in it for some other convenience so that they can live out whatever lifestyle that is sort of blasted. To have dominion. To have dominion over. So this is in any marriage, for better, or to have sovereignty. To have sovereignty. Supremacy, which means dominance, a superiority. It's not just like I'm dominating you, or as like a teacher, I'm trying to help you, or as an adult to a child. I'm not trying to have dominion, supremacy. I'm the adult here. You better shush up. I'll tell you who's who. I'll give you something to cry about. I'll show you who's the boss. It's these sort of things. And when you look at dominion and you look at the history, it's Middle English via an Old French from medieval Latin. Okay, so there's originations. Dominion, dominio from Latin, dominium from dominus, lord or master. Oh boy. So to say, that they are the master of, and in other words, and that you are not of equal. So there's going to be a clash. They have to always have a better than, leg up, stoop up, better, something has to be there. There's going to always be they have a need to prove, explain, and justify their greatness. You're like, it's 7 a.m. I don't, and they want to control your sleep. you're eating, you're spending, da da da, and you can't have, I mean, there isn't a lot of freedom there. So to have dominion, superiority over others, to rule or govern. So meaning that they're going to set the rules and they're going to govern. Did you elect these officials into your marriage? I mean, is your boyfriend an elected official? Is your girlfriend, lover, spouse, this colleague, this toxic person in the workplace, are they elected official? I mean, are they? And sometimes they'll, oh, you're bad, and like you don't have that, you don't know that, you're bad. Like as if they're the Lord of your counsel, as if they're showing up for some testimony hearing that you didn't even know that you had, but they're trying to be like, you're so bad. You didn't even do anything. I mean, you just started breathing. Perhaps your breathing is bad. So you change your breathing. Whatever you need to do, dominion over you, a leg over you, an arm over you. Oh, aren't we buddies? An arm over you. Who's got dominion over here? Oh, look, you're putting your arm on me. Look who's hanging on who. To kind of hold down. We're going to kind of hold down control. Doesn't sound like a real provocative, sort of liberating, or what you might call educational, to bring the best out of you experience. They have a different love style. And these people oftentimes, they do not relax. They do not like to be of equal character. These are the people who are at the ice cream. They can't wear a t-shirt and flip-flops. They have to have a cashmere linen blazer with a special scarf with Julio Lockety sandals, shoes, leather, eyeglasses. I mean, there's nothing, can you put down the labels? Can you put down the brand? Can you put down the ostentation? Can you put down, you're trying to prove to us, the world, all the time, that you are the master and have dominion. I'm sorry, but that is the convincing, oh, you're nobody if you're not on Facebook. You're nobody if you're not on Instagram. You're nobody if you don't have, really? Whose rule is this? It's the unspoken, what they would call in psychology groupthink, social engineering, social pressures. Pressure? No, unless you want to jump into a pressure chamber and say, I want to come out broken, unless you voluntarily want to elect these said officials, not people, into your life. They can't eat lunch. They have to, there's always something that they will set the rule and govern. This is when we get together. This is when we Not, you know what? It's 4 a.m. and like, why, are we now, so it's just kind of like they own the rights to your schedule. Your schedule is nothing. Your schedule, you don't earn anything. You're not doing anything. You're just a mom. You're just a dad. You're just a blah, blah. It's always, there's sort of a minimizing, as if you're a minion. And as far as in today's digital age, you have specific freedoms and rights as a person. So it's kind of like eye-opening to realize when specific overt narcissists, either in the individual, the microcosm, or the macrocosm, large industries, businesses, you have this in your workplace. You'll know these people. The people who they're louder, they're bigger, they're bully, they have dominion. They're always trying to show you who's boss, who is, and and then you must then assemble accordingly. Are you at an assembly, or are you in a love relationship? Are you in a family? And and you're trying to accept some other structure which is not of such. So this is not a workplace. This isn't working. It's dysfunctional. This is not a family. It's not familial. It's not close. There's something not working. And oftentimes people who are in this love style will protect the abuser. Oh, there's no one. They've got all this power. They're right. They're this. So there's the succumbing, the oppression, and if you repeat this, that repression and suppression will eventually then begin to feel like you're being oppressed. You're being held back. You can't go further. You're kind of like at the gate, and you're like this, and you're like, why am I rocking? Like I can't move forward. That is, you have to undo the overt narcissist seatbelt. They're like, stay in the car. I'll be right back. What? I got to get up. I got to go. I got to walk. I want to come in too. Oh no, you don't need to come in. This is just for me. There's a lot of like just for thems and not with yous. And then the with yous are supposed to be accordingly the quality. And oftentimes, they're still going on about themselves time. You don't get equal, fair, share face time, I am time, vocalization. You can't, it's kind of like you don't even then comprehend yourself if you've been in these relationships a long time or understand your feelings, because it's kind of like reading. If you're in a group and you're doing a reading of a book, and we're going to come to a discussion, and if you discuss it, you have better comprehension. Oh yeah, that character, you're right, they did that. I didn't remember. They are the good guy there. Or you're right, that's the bad. Oh, cool. And then you have better comprehension. In a overt narcissist relationship, you're going to lack comprehension. There is no meeting in the middle of the airwaves that give you a comprehension. You'll feel like you're moving through a lack of knowledge or with a lack of knowledge. And always sort of wondering and just sort of always having to maybe make excuses, explaining, justifying, this is my friend, this is my friend, this is, and then you're wondering why you keep getting abused, why they're hard on you, why they're disgusted by you, why they never look at you, give you the love, show you that love exists. They don't have a vision. If they don't have a vision, then you're just going to enter, you're in an emotional prison. If they don't have a vision, you're in an emotional prison. You can write that, tweet that if you're still with us. That's really what they do. They sort of, and you don't realize that you're held back until they're like, well, you're supposed to go like this, enter the key, you're supposed to know this, figure this out. And there are already 5 relationships gone by, and you're just going like, okay, I got it now. Don't worry about it. There is coming out of this type of relationship style, work style. People eventually go, I don't like being treated this way. You're not getting me. You're not hearing me. I am uncomfortable. I'm not putting up with this anymore, is what you're like, duh, and then you might be single. You might be independent. This might be new for you. You might then be okay. Stay with it. This is your buddy. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share. Please subscribe. And for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Have a beautiful day. Love ya.